We are live, and I already see 5 people have joined the conversation. So thank you so much. There are already 6 now. Thank you for joining the U-Turn show. If you are new to this platform, we call the U-Turn is an empowerment platform that educates, inspire, and spotlight the great work of our community members, men and women that are doing life-changing work in our community. So today we are spotlighting engineer Thon Malek, who will talk to us about the value of self-worth and what it means for young people to believe in themselves, to build themselves, and to know their worth. So I'm also joined by my amazing co-host here, 𝗬𝗂𝘗 his'𝗁 𝗞𝗪𝗂𝗂, all the way from Kenya, Nairobi, and Alakir from Vancouver, Canada. Thank you for joining me, ladies. And I don't want to take away the shine from Engineer. Engineer, welcome back to the U-Turn show. This is your home.
Thank you.
Kindly introduce yourself briefly and let us know what does self-worth really mean to you as a person, why it is exciting topic that you want to discuss today, and where do you think people can get self-worth? Is it from themselves, especially young people, from families, from community, from government? We don't know. So please take it away. Introduce yourself and the topic, and I will go next. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, U-Turn, for another invitation extended. Yes, I really appreciate that God has guided us up to this far. My name is 𝗏𝗵𝗶𝗶 𝗩𝗹𝘂𝗲. So I believe I work, I'm an inspirational presenter. I speak on motivational cases, speeches, and all that. And especially the one of today is very interesting, highly, because it is about self-worth. And there are so many issues around self-worth, because that is the basic unit of every human being. It all begins with self-worth. What is self-worth, and where do we get it from? If you look at it this way, you will realize that all the potential, the ability, the human resources, and all that has to enhance somebody's life or to propel somebody's life is put in the self-worth. If you don't believe that you can, you will not even believe in the tools you have. Neither will you even appreciate the fact that you have the human resource around you to help you. So it actually starts with believing. You see, believing in yourself, say that I can. Where do we get self-worth? Yeah, there are so many places. If I just say, let me just give my example here, that in the lower classes, I was tagged. I was tagged as somebody who was, that my head wasn't working, because scoring from 59 and the 60 was rotating between the 59 and the 60th position. So community will attach to you a given tag. And so if you don't know how to differentiate which tag makes meaning to you, you will actually be lowering yourself. So basically, I love this element of self-worth because I believe in it, and the community can also attach it positively, because you can even get it from family if there are those who can give it to you from family. And personally, I believe that even I know cases isn't it? Because of its value, isn't it? They bring machine they get the same value. So, but now what matters here is that what is your feeling when you are in that state? Do you separate the environment from the value? If you think that the environment and the value are the same, that is a societal state now. So, you from the family, self-worth, you from a government, especially if you have a mentor, somebody at workplace who will say, you have a value. And mainly, you can get it having a reflection that really in the image of God. And who is that God? How much has God done? So is there a situation whereby God will really, an image of God, a reflection of functionality of God can be worthless? That is not possible. So at some point you can derive it from scriptural setting. And they check in the image of God. But now the environment, this one is Jabul. And that's why I love this kind of an account from, I think, Luke 15. This prodigal son, I have come back to my senses. This gentleman, what he was doing here, that situation was hard. You see, that is the level, isn't it? But remember, a jail from father's house. And on that state of life, when you know the difference between where you are and where you were. Now, when you compare these two, I have come back to my senses, meaning that the value is not the issue. Yes, it is all about making that statement that I will go back to the Father. There is that initial stage where you can go back and refine yourself again, because that image, either you are tarnished by the community or the friends have brought you to where you are, because there is a lot more. So even a situation can let you know your self-worth, isn't it? Because this gentleman said, Baba, I jam Arakai bot kungen, and that I'm starving. That is the statement he said. Then he said, I go back to the Father. I remember he said, I go back to the Father. Kinwelan be government about to a chain, a Kinwelan be Jong the Legend about to a chain, because a jail from the Father. I need the route he took when he left the Father, isn't it? When what route leads home. So, even in a situation whereby at some point you that and you exactly how did we come there? Who became our friends who have brought us here? So what is it? Bijal appreciated that yes, this is the road that took us to where we are. Now I know exactly how I can take myself back home. Because if you go back to the example, Lebala realized that sonship is lost, isn't it? Our privileges are lost. You see, you can be a son at home or a son in that distant land. You are all sons. All of us, we have that value to God, and we have that value even to the community. They still demand us to do the best. So the only difference here is that when you are in that environment, privileges are chiga you, which an opportunity to deliver. And that is why it's important that let me go back home. When the any chance do change to the Father, what happened? God knows that it's not all about that how have you wasted yourself, isn't it? It's all about reclaiming the life that you are left with. There is still value and the potential in the life you have left with. That is where all goes wrong. So you can get that value from the family. You can even get it from mentors, even those who have written books. They can mentor you. Because this world now, you can be mentored by both the people who are living and those who are dead. Even the government systems which are existing now are not necessarily mentored by those who are alive. I said last time, democracy, the Newton laws of motion, recently. And now a lot of things derive from the life Chikoku lived. And then they came up. So a dynamic in the bus what you at any point. Maybe yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes. And I said this, you can as well derive self-worth from other people who have done it. I think up to 1954, in jail, this Roger Bannister in jail, running a mile within less than 4 minutes. But before in Yipinam now, no. A mile cannot be complete within that time. But on Chenara and Tongchebulo, the rest of the people now, there is something that is possible. So at some point, self-worth, if you don't believe in yourself, you believe in someone who believes in you, so that you gain that stamina, then you propel yourself. Many of us, as I earlier on said, even up to where I am now, I have not, after some time when I was mentored, Issues to do with academic now were not my problem, even up to where I am now. Why? Somebody was saying that you can. So I begin to believe in that person, even actually only in this life, even in spiritual affairs. Of course, I reflect, and some of us are also biblically inclined. Imitate me as I imitate Jesus. Because sometimes they might not understand this Jesus is talking about. But just look at my life, and follow my life, because Paul follows the principle of Christ. I'm no longer the one living. Christ is the one living in me. So when you do not have the stamina, things are, and all that, and you seem to be distant from that community is tagging you, that in belief fail in the family. Now out of the 5-1, guy, this lawyer is in this part of the country, and all that. Now, in that situation, you feel that by the laws of those comparison and all that, but no, brother, sister, no, because all of us are isn't it? Even quite the among that differences in that, and then I get con ben when community jamang ngor all this. So can any of us anytime we can look at ourselves positively. Yes, I can. If you can manage it by yourself, yes, I can. You can. You believe in that, in that person. Not on a level whereby you have that kind of fluctuating belief, because that stability in the belief system is an experience, actually a one-time thing, isn't it? I know quite that they can say, yes, I believe in myself. When I a difficult brand Peter and silver and gold have I none, but in the name of Jesus of Nazareth, rise up and walk. Dagi children and Akura Khan. And what is the difference between us and Peter? Because of the belief, then another it is possible. Could I allow you the same Peter? Could I do charity and allow you get the same Peter? That level of belief, isn't it? When get another yoga nyai chetan lorako. So belief, what I developed over some time based on an experience, right? So that is, so there are many spheres of life where we can gain it. You through books, you from people who say you can do it, you from 𝗂𝗄 that do. They show that they have done it, and you can as well. You can as well do it. Now, just to summarize on this part, these issues, where do they come from? I been from even academia. Even to you got to sources of issues at some point it is represented. Lula man that will get nyegat, kumanen gache nyegat. Because actually exam come in 1 hour, you begin to qualify your children based on the 1 hour system. Human being actually never graded in 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and get the best. Now looking to the certificate and academic transcript, there are some of these days we have forgotten. So tell me, do you really need to score me and say that I was the best or I was worse on this? So academia now, no. Based on this, you are not this. In an average student. So community now, Kujela benchmark systems of the world, our values attached on people. So you carry yourself as a second class lower, as a pass. So you begin to associate yourself with academic results. So whenever you move around, you think that you are distant away from others. So then there is a problem there. That is a source of issues. Yes. And then this is a fashionable environment. We are now some of the industries are using us as their objects. They study us. They design, they say, this is what we think you like. Now you got to sometimes we don't choose them. They do research and they think this is what we think you will like. It can be a fashion for you this time again. So now can you change? You see, You know, I remember there was this time when I was at the university undergraduate, you know, an old man of 65 years, Ichol Mugeke, and Ichol Mugeke, because Bantolundia did it, isn't it? Yes, they say this is Mugeke. So now, where do they derive from? Achieve fashion industry, mean this one. So if I was not stable enough, I would be frustrated. You know, I enjoy old man and all this and all that, isn't it? And on a lady, up to scared up to la work him. Pingula non yan Ellen G. White. Ellen G. White. Is it? So I attach my nigga gum on what? On people, isn't it? Yes, Kujala feeling that no. That is it. So some of us who are into books now, and isn't it? Now she's stable, Chirmandiana to ask a question, but Antigua, Yini and Kachi Luitem, isn't it? Kayin, Kekalabena, like we are frustrated, could harm that into a relationship which is not constructive because it's provoked. Now that we are campus guys, you know, and every campus now you must be having a course and a boyfriend and a course and a girlfriend. You see, you go into the system of art and drop every semester. You want to identify yourself with what the community has said in terms of fashion and all that. So fashions are also sources of creating the disbelief. You ko rara you nana da nan ce wadi because kina wayan panda jacin telephone cirkin ka yemu tene ga din ni to den tene ga di ruti to tene ga di na ruta to tin. But you try to feed yourself and ala ruta ala ko kuoni ma ala ko no. You know, right now tangana kaya ruta chin and all that because you don't drive your value from the fact that you created in the image of God regardless of your mission. You drive it with respect to your muchiko accomplish. The Calaban problem. One thing interesting with people. And ale ben trying no and korbatotuk. You know our hospital results ka kaiga niar bunga nanga ketok. Kukoke ben elwela kitoken nga. We are kidia. You know wearing a lawyer suppose naman janchen wearing a man and we are an kin no. I'm supposed to do this, isn't it? But now result pana kimla ben kul no gonna positive kulela positive kwa will gala no ngato positive, isn't it? Yes, because ela ben ke ka pana kim. But yung ela ben na that level of comparison. Another source you self what limitation of or you feeling that is not worthy. A ben from money. You know, we are confused can impact leadership. So chimana chakwen chimana one of the people you can learn yung to kun. You know masters garo glo PhD ku yena kani cham. Gwajale okay. What is the meaning of a cham? Yena chi jalto yena chi ngutiyong ina ge cham. So be community yang na de tukul ek di de cham. Ek di na chatul ke bu tew ina mugdan to ku jagayati jalo kana be long akuma ku kana be long dia. Then you will drive a value so no now based on how much they have on their bank accounts feeling no with master with the degree with the certification I support but now this sister or brother or in the community lelwe nara that were to high school kurara kan kin kula grade ngad laga tong kalele no e support bananken bugu confuse kind of leadership. Yes, for academic excellence, because confused in ayela bena alegara rolo condemn, but when chibera was the naya what is that do? Is suppose be talking and that one that one is not the case. With one of the games that is played in the world, because the law characteristics of the game logging in with allow you that one of them. You see? Every game has rules, one of them. So every game, I know winners, I know losers. Every game, I know quite a cheat, isn't it? To lay in qualities, all the qualities of other games, log into this allow you that with one of the games that has to be played. So Kuga is something that actually who is holding me. And I tell you that we tournament, the fact that didn't get hold again, isn't it? So now look a baby, what I said, what I engage now again. Okay. Okay, now, yeah, sure. I got this comment. Now look, Baya look, we okay, Benke, Iran, no Nichilo, Iran, Chinichilo, Kalabengi, because we were baga kang nim kan kin take a in a woo, isn't it? Chiman we quite out in a man, Elevenanga, we by Nanga thing, I will guy like a young call U turn, who get on Maleka con Kubu Lam go catch. So we they scam, with you anywhere. We go with a chetty in Agamuka, and that's why the young with a father down because and you call Pinum and they Tiana with the youth and I think quite be interested in Tiana youth and quite I interested the way it is. In a human hand you call Gaya, we talk with Gagan putting to Bukurting do talk to Kalaf Kane. So now Nalula by important a bit determined by will. Can that is not true. Because Gol ever an be will pin. Some of them that are can will think an idea that have done something each always. Kujel ko bela develop so with the symbol this with the this with a symbol but and that's why I like join the Lelena country again watching the like and I like join because a symbol like a value attached to it. So self what actually determined based on that in a case of handcalling a band issues to do with beauty. Lula yeah beautiful, when handsome and all that. Cuman campaign dia ni calo campaign dia lah jauh lah walai kecen nyiri ni nari are chen nyiri abo ting tongi nari ye na lola competitor du ti handsome wala yani ye the one quality kan shinda lola ke ye wa team dia gua chol ku jago nyi pi ka ke yen ka very strong jago ka tik handsome ku beru ko kala be ala gua you that being handsome achin kol chen jala lola yen ton yen attach your photo bi ngen na they in a very good software engineer based on your photo alio abulela now we want a certified accountant who can call photo they attach so anno kai wakaru like stress bugu really value any value da bugu la wan kubura no na ne suppose by yen la gwani suppose by yen la okay and it should be the best of the quality that a human being has but to in gam kubin namdu to very clean because Namdu can direct you anywhere. Because group I like a subject of our brains. At any nimbo wa kwatin ben Namdu yodu kwatin to jene kwatin. Kulagulu keneka ba de ko de. Keneka ba jam kucham, keneka ba chen kuchen. So beauty ela benga another thing. Any jam mo na you man with respect about you man most of the social media. Could you Louis trade ego? But now the question here, where is the brain that is managing that body? Should we really be proud? I not dintum chira and took care somewhere could your community later it. Could your community lay to one negativity and no quite no and all the well no dinner. And that's very this generation. For example, now and chirgan and jaguan koi no. Actually, there some kind of appreciation to workman. You know, now negative is an insult. But this generation, generation, quite graded by a name. And quite graded by how you use your brain to solve a problem. Because how many bullets country what will determine what is the population of the country. Yes. So now the only thing, the only best we can do ebu resources kwa ya use kwa waji waga we kwa ndu waga rebe no because that is in support again
I agree. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
I agree that the self-worth is also determined by how stable you are And brand men will provoke. Kayin will react that you want to prove them wrong. You have a mathematical constant. You have something in you that you believe it doesn't depend on Kiyokongwell or how they describe how you look. It's not how you look. It's one of those, and it's also I think source of influence that we don't have much control on that actually determine our self-worth. And I want to ask you to elaborate about it, and that is our upbringing. Like we're parent who I check in with positive, talk or reinforcement, or they don't really believe in you, or in so they're like, oh, you have this and you don't have this.
Yes.
So can you touch on that? How parents actually erode kids' self-worth and then it shows up later on in their life?
Okay, thank you. Along a level to briefly on that, where parents they can become destructive. A community that will be lad in la bank in pure, but can as time goes on can achieve Louis. Most me go chiga toji charge because I will can age can I you rachin pure waila. Karana lara you are like a chijala like chen pure what house? I chin giran chin pure by will improve because they condemn already. Like and Kulala Yenera and Yinla Kuinla. That's what then example the Gamula no Gamanon, Baba the Chola no. You're very intelligent, get of us. A yin get polarate. But Echa concluded Nana Dagayan. She community gam. When I felt na Daga Anam Dadu Kuyo and Anamaka Yunum de Ella Binging because it's a Louis. Luella gets Louis when Allah Kalataka Ala, you get it, Louis. So, among a situation whereby so many factors that talk. Now, Kira, you tongue parent, which have been at the level chinang and awareness, and then they can live. Then there will be an opportunity to solicit for that from others, isn't it? Yeah, benang uncle, people whom you see value, I in another in on Gingage. Ukapia the winter and Nongara Chira, you think real Baba improve, Chiman, if na in chin opportunity, banang that kind of a parent be propelled. Which are in a parent by yourself, you dissipate that with sibling with your lakoiko. Because by supportive because be by chebe by do to onto intinti. Yes. It can work out as well. Now Japan brother, which Japan sister really this is really very bad. Kinjalba to which by way. Be human being I share can that kind of is it a questionnaire or something like that? Now Luera review. Kache ya this bakana review kan a lot of positive here. Lo jaman achara ulen ngayon kuikang iran kuikang red. Acha even that kind of a sweeping statement. Kuna achar kula inga belul kula ina pol yung yin kana bangan kana ka aigal lo pa kwa chaga tin yung ina kan ye janwan man. So kale ngina la no a lot more ye lo pep ke jal benge this room of improvement in Kajarakor. So Kalabenke a very good approach. Check kamit. We met a new kiri a loy. Kuna Louis met discipline, Louis discipline ke man kuikang. A Louis discipline ke era nyikang because I check koi kuikang a discipline. Koi cheran kuikang a yoga improve. Era nyikang a deka yoga anong daba mari nyikang do it. Buyajal from this side of negativity. Buyala towards positivity. No pia de loera ne bagijal ko ebijala dear kerane la ela dungan assignment they are working harder. Kunaye medene dong or berandunga ne toya. Lela kajipeda and all this and all that. The question here, jali from that environment, look at the models in the world. Kulela, okay, pia the only measurement of inum. Bala pana kim kulele wala twa inja nang twa ngere kulele anko dictor pet na la kulele dictor pet aken you dictor to dictor yen ke dictor twa indun ku yen ke loy ke in lura am bol isn't it kulele yen chagi de achiran in the normal sense level adaru kule le para kimule le nan koran ile because the core solution is appearance, isn't it? The core problem is appearance, a solution. Yeah. So naturally, to in the level chain walk wala bend to the community now. You're gonna in a court, isn't it? Chima nanti example come sometime back. That one in Randy and a low this is a handsome guy who key in like chain votes. Okay, let us sit down. Let us look around. That mathematics don't have a problem. Go group go quantum, ya mathematics you would have a choice. Because you are hurling towards handsomeness, because you are hurling towards solving the problem of mathematics. Go langira handsomeness, achieve mathematics, achieve marks, achieve gala lawyer, achieve gala improve, isn't it? Go la lawyer one with math. So anong many other elements, but what is it? Because anong kai. That's why even in the family life, it's supposed the beauty and a factor because kakajal, you know, they become so deceptive. What in the world whereby ran be accident, you ran be trying to deform that kunajila any value attached to that, Karana will be miserable. Because the day when talking yen one which is jajal that couple ran young, a value. So it is encouraged. Don't walk cái quay coi you can milk in the na de grande ban ato in the image of God, isn't it? Yes, quite less image in terms of functionality can live. When I get non challenge the golden kala ka sustain, especially in the families to be ran there who care live. We special na identify na de man and a challenge like this. You don't wait. You don't wait. You come in. Yes, you come in and begin to give more. And gentlemen, you recently, 3 weeks ago, a young man, wakajan yantin tunke, wakaja relationship, then a jago kwala akor bi jam kukalo ruru, wa ben bola moin. You don't you a record baga jam, go allow. Kalatin in a go channel, go yantin go jale to a distance, but don't this guy. Kwajale Mwanyanche, your enemy and your friend. Just because, but I will just want to tell you one thing. Jale, do you know where you are? Actually, anything special to the same age bracket toy in a chain cover can't take it. Raka the acquiring where I can take in the age bracket. Even I around Totten. Jalu a clear lawyer. Actually, right. A time in the right. Because it's like an antos in a one Jalu in. Relationship. Jalu like I cheat the cane. The ken by be a loy ben ya tem about or gujela ka ti loy ka ba iri kun alle bira and lungu nerat will nerande. Yes, daman do ban kin a young man by chuto dadu inchi kwandon pol inchi family pol bati when nyam tin but na cha ko use ka rain yalo inja lu stroke ki ka ba bas just go when you there kito at your hands a knife. Ukoy get to working in your age bracket almost 20 years ago. Koi chen the kind of koi I use abla beneke koi right now they are regretting. You don't need your own story to regret. Nanong unfortunate story chiro and take it as a lesson. So good enough this gentleman every year on his way. But after some time and we call you. What I'm trying to say, we all of us watch a privilege in all aspects. Now you run, especially whether you had an opportunity to get that mentorship, now in opportunity always let us always advance that so that really we feel the pain of you need to have mentorship. That when you get an opportunity, that one, and then we keep on giving it. Foundation of negativity, one coin. Ebu ben kubra na push towards positivity. Kubya areas of improvement. Kela benale. Ana well dear to children. Well ya well na then I will conclude because and him can gama ke koi did him very stupid. Will ke no. It's right. In cái cho cái a given age bracket na chi met bang nong some level of self awareness chi an kur which are pol kan friends couple level within their grouping ela bang nong a long term impact if ela perceive na de value de less so na na ko to ka lon there were be chen with cái chwar anga in ku kang in man ku kang in juara in kan lo lo kan in their grouping cha ka kur ka mit they have that level na chi ba this da du ka jal bela to ke more harmful so able value increase we need that every human being and no mistakes e ka loy ku mistakes e ka loy I choose zero down I can you ka ken ti ka loy ban ku ja ba lo however can loy but he is capable of doing that class chances are high to pick up from that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dorcas, back to you.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Engineer Ton. You have really exhausted, surely, a lot of the question. We are just going to be doing summary, especially the first question that we exhausted as well. I don't really think would be like where do we get this self-worth from actually family, community, from mentor. So that question actually existed, and I think we can go to the second question. And he has really touched all the areas of the question, but we are going to dive into the second question. The second question is that Samuel, most of us at the young age, especially when we are young, right? We have got a lot of different families, different background where we are raised up from, and so some of us like are raised in place that have conflict or maybe a conflict within your parent and what, and those one you grow up with them, right? So how do we really manage those experiences because they have really squeezed us? The extent that our self-worth could just where you the chinya like you feeling cheated that because if you look the other side, right? I mean the thing a near and or maybe raised in a good place and you feel like now an disadvantaged child and all those things. So how do we really balance those and make sure that they don't take away our work or actually theater chukbulu connect with such childhood stuff?
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you for that. Yes. Correct. I know that kind of feeling. Yen to kanto ran nana daga any suppose na ba did in a family like this. Family no good manners. Ku ka betok maybe koi they fear God. Ku ka koi level up to some extent. Then don't ka suppose be a rich. So all the suppose you put them in that. And kuna na jau to the real world. The real life can kakaban aiche lui. Ki kanto na charo you in that environment. Kaki kan loy bas a problem bas solve. Ken dakato yi ka chen myo the gloves. Aiche patient ke man ke etwani ka man ke. So instead ben etwani bit teran ben. Ikangwan betwani ne beteto ku be ala chweya. So na lol be ku le dakato ra ko ikor ka ken ba yen. Because I think that love that is too much to share the disease. Can I live that kind of love I live. So now in that situation, kakito, bangen, what is it within your control? Because quite deal ko. No choices can chick a loy winter I be work these. Kwanong which are not in our control. One, I check ko bu ba look a burger by pure. I check ko look a burger by discipline. Kay mo jijal dongatan stability nam duka korba created. But okay. I control myself. Kiche jora tongran. E good. That's why na go around ben. Na chara bi mai chira ne mai kulela inji ben tijene ma cha kor batak. Including jam kiye de reto. Kulela akuma le bi mai kulela der to inju korbu jam. But chile ba ladi bi wa akuma. Because you have the only thing you have the highest access to yourself. So if that is the case, then that you create a system being alloy, we need to do separated. Be I any etepet to do because anon can live it or medal it or pan pay the rate, kule ban again ran pay that. Another choice to make. So if Bella Benga our choice is now can we join them or can we make a difference? We had opinion because actually I will be promise in that actually I will be promise in air. None of air won't I had opinion meaning that there is darkness. So naturally you in that situation, can you first control yourself? This idea then jama wala and beriogo and babariogo and be man deriogo akaga no alio. Heman dia go riogo. Naria go kachin kir babari aga and karia go. That is actually responsible for a situation whereby they don't care. Liberal baba ni mama ni ku kwanda ni jabagar yok wala in karia radala. We not jala beala could be chama kago kola. Una to buy it can win you do. That is it. Yes. So every country but I'm very appear you need your responsibility to reckon this is your life. If you do can rain kuku pidu. Na riaka kayina kariak, you go in your generation. Achira na mujila. Yes. Kuna lobe yet by accountable, maybe I stress, but no. Kilo military na bari yogo. You go to win on your own generation. You know a profession to live, you know a legacy to live. Na kini alu ka chi ton malega chi loy. Kulo ka chi man da chi loy. Come there's somebody who is responsible. Abala nang generation de. Abala nang ka keto. So bakan bulo yes. To some extent, and responsible. And not going to get corrected. But he dignity to do, but protected a chair and the So in that situation, Kuchiko nang the Tinchike Jal Kukachi ko Berulu. Take control of that environment because the man of Ben ala big live. Now kunong and the wala donging. Kimbala donget to do be a lot in get it. Kunalala. Kumana illa kwarake this from the poor family. You want to also repeat the poor family demand by our parents are poor. They are kind of a series of blame. They are shifted from there. Be kwar be tong baba ku ber baba be tong en ku ber be lule. Rana ni chiro you think which a man you create a narrative, change a narrative. You don't know. Things will not go like this. Now you call it chicken and loy. Yes, those were their choices. But at my level, let me see how much I can do. Now, non-control over siblings, you also create an influence to change, to try to counter this habit between that environment. So about to do bakan secure. And that's why in West African proverb jamulele. Na lunya ati ama mai lunya am lunya ne mendu am or lunya ne baba do am daru do akwan kor. Yes, meaning that actually because she baba do chinyar, because you feel it by instinct, you feel it now that this is your body. Kujal kiri mendu jabangari ala. So primarily, anong a level you are kind of responsible. And I chara ani chela with your ring, incha tau, attack, and all this. Kayen, ache responsible of you making it. Ale bilung kubala juharpin, lay juharpin. But the decision on whether Baba do be bala juharpin again, I think your work. And that's why an amount of value about tied to somebody, they can attached to himself. That's why when Ajaga in the world, one of very respected people, one of honorable members. But that title now, Do you know that no court in the villages? Kinikaran in that title as honorable, but by the virtue of what they do, they're honorable. Yes, are honorable people because that is what they do. So value a share and they attach on you. Eke yellow yenege attach on you. Nano tichen ko di way. Eke is attached to them. But I just relative value because father illa ku brother de illa being affected in ya or auntie in below maku kwande illa and all that. But at then illa ben ke yin. So bad the end become secure. Ke ko not the end. Ula to recorded it can Paul and I don't control them till I buy but it the end. Let me take control of it. Class. Look that system dictator. Elijah by Jala Galoy can chain gloves. Kunala lie low emotional and barala throw into Baba Kenkalo, Mama Kenkalo, Ubial Kenny Agaduni, Gumubandadu. Kera and trying to earn while I try, Ben with that dictator according to what Elijah. We can allow a series of consultants work on medication cases. But body they secure, but can't be nang to talk everything. Bekan to any independent road when no go pia ya lo when ja ko coin towards bila jala lo na karaji no chances of success.
You really answered that question very well. I know Dorcas, thanks for asking, and many people appreciate that question. Because we go, especially in our community, because we get a lot of quarter or because I relate to a lot of men ngati. So it really impact many people. Self-worth and how they value themselves, especially you like you really long day and dear wala you kill you more on wala walk now someone feel less because I can't man and those things. So I really like the way you have addressed it, that the value I check here and then how you feel within yourself and what you contribute. And we don't have control over what parent, what did or grandparent or nada. We have control about who we are today, and that is really powerful. It also dovetails kind of question in a world full of pressure, comparison, and noise. What do you think is the biggest reason young people struggle to understand their self value today? Maybe if you can answer that, and then I'll take you to the next question about the culture, how culture, impact the idea of self worth, self value. Take it away.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, in a world of pressure, this pressure here, you can control the pressure. Pressure. A lot of pressure in the world, this and that. But this button of stability, it don't work. You can allow in much pressure, or you can choose how much pressure you will accept, isn't it? Like now, in the I'm not quite pressurized to the point until like into a relationship which you call it just because of that pressure. Well, no, that one I cannot do it. So pressure, you choose to see how much you will allow into yourself, because the maximum pressure is in you and get the maximum pressure. But keep burn from out, you can determine how much pressure you will receive. Okay, issues of comparison, chairman, brand true value, pressure, kujela comparison. How can young people understand their true value? Understanding of the true value, a sequential or a stepwise. Because actually baptism by fire, isn't it? But until winter, nang that series of disbelief, but get at once, it can achieve possible. Key possible, everyone take through different levels of experiences. Then until Bijala Gamna and again, indeed valuable. Do you know that even for conferences, there was a conference I went to. You will find that brothers even in Africa here, in Europe, in a conference, with the confidence that you contain. And no koko here ange kan call binan koko nyot ke chimnial. Quite the same, you know, professor of this, a professor of this, researcher, you came for a conference. But I know quite the name can boss because a yen a korubu can a question the will it make sense to Kawajat? Kunonke where Kareb, will it make sense? You know, Barakan value in terms of that. So can I so I can be an among some level of successes. I want to wajabla with some of us to raise. If I'm making my sense and then you attach nonsense to it, you are the ones attaching it. So that's not my business. Because you have the right. Even every agent will expire, they can attach a different meaning. Pana Kim Lord will lose agents will expire, you will find that other are negative, will get positive. So attachment of tax to people, it's a new thing. Yes. But as a pure jama blue grow. And now one thing this gentleman well Peter, you know, a pure to go jalinga in jam. You are a chosen generation, you are a royal priesthood, God is chosen people. You know, he's trying to remind people that this is their value. So in such cases, monitored, until brand value the journey. A case general latium. You might like that example, that conversation, that question to that is making sense. Okay, questions are making sense. Naturally, this time we next time now, okay, like jam better because it's building that kind of self-worth. Now you manage jam coin we learn nana jam this was very good. This was very good. Now then we will now begin to get that kind of a true value. Since you are giving this messages, anong channel nga lo piang tong ayila lo piang tong ayila. You know, the moment in one thing can loy, you know, ko tong Peter be dokas be chora la jor to because after all Iran can't chat. But now tell me, I call for the first time. Kureira be chat. Do you think Libby Peter by repeated in the name of Jesus Joraku chat? So that is the same situation. So that belief system until it becomes part of you. Nachajala, you are okay. This thing works. You know, in initial when China encouraged by a parent, especially my dad, got Louis class skipped. And then I excel. Well, okay, this one is working. Well, more two classes were combined together, and I got the same first position. So I began to know that this one is working. So actually, a room being by Benetonga discouraged because I have developed that kind of self-confidence and self kind of belief over. So can I develop because Ranchero the gum. I fall the gumrod because they are learning. I'm a school of disbelief in over several years or months. So achin a physical ceremonial recognition, you have a diploma in disbelief, or master's in disbelief, or PhD in disbelief. So such a person ever take through another belief system. Maybe pure until to undo that level of learning when to come back to zero. Which another track they'll be alone now to believe in himself or herself. So of course some level of patience in that. And a collective responsibility of experiences, but and this is how I did it. I was failing, and this is how I did it. This is how I did and that. You know, they're quite more. Every I went to another level. You got a chair and you can weak. A chair and you can challenges. Could you you cheat a coaching and the quite a lerang and did in the community. Here and no. This business, the brother. I did a lot of mistakes. In this year, I did a mistake, and this is what happened. In this year, I did this. In this year, I did this. Normal. Human beings, they make mistakes. That's why Einstein said, "Ran kin mistake can loy, ran kin anything new can." Can't try. Then again, I can mistake can lo. So now you represented at our real value. You are not a normal human being, but created by the image of God. We believe in ourselves. We believe in learning. We believe in unlearning and all that. Why are you why represented on me with your lack of banana? Even in our local, you some of us now who are in academia, you got some of our papers. Wow, this one a lot of citations and all this. But you got how many some of these guys rejected them. You get from this journal, these guys say, no, this one we are not taking it. Or they would ever recommend a very heavy experiment to be added on that. But that man do baby job. Kuna jagala yuga jitok. It took you 6 months, it took you even 1 year for that paper to be published. Ujala yuga jitok ujiran kwen. Wow, this is very good. This person is not seeing the comments. Those rude comments, authors, he's not seeing them. He's not seeing this back and forth with the supervisor and all this. So that's why I believe in one of these scholars who said that champions are taken by the badges they wear, are taken by the scars behind the badges.
Thank you.
Yeah. So in that case, now you will represent, you will even watch a clean. Economic crisis hit me here. Academia hit me here. Even this family struggled like this. We are really.
Is it me or the internet?
The internet because long they frozen too.
I think yeah.
Yeah. But really a very strong point you can do drive home. Really, and personally, it inspired me because most of us would compare can edited version of others. I hope Yanathon, your question has been answered. Personally, I believe that as Tom said, very clean. Check around on the top, Elon Musk, who is going to the Mars. I know failures you get or not to know before made to Mars. So all of us, we have challenges. We have, and we don't want to compare ourselves with people because battle can have different kind of battles for. And really, in the era of social media, where random filters can get out, so if your level of compare real life in your house, in your kitchen, you're compare not the Musura studio. I don't know if really that alignment or thing because value as natural well and maybe Dorcas you can echo that value AI internal I check it. It has nothing to do with outside. It's how you believe in yourself. So Dorcas, you were talking about that earlier. Maybe you can add while we wait for Don to join, like your understanding.
Oh yeah. By the way, Tona really existed it all and for sure. These are the challenges we face in real life. The fact remains that we cannot lie that you can never be in friends, right? It must at some point because in human, being friends, then now you sit back and you say, like for me, every time chala yekiba loide yekibro riogde bro riog nangen. Like I always see it. Like I always see it like this one like I'm not doing it well and yeah. So and the fact remains that we cannot deceive ourselves. Like it's not good or you're not doing it well. It matter So and even a lot of things happening online today. Filters and whatever all those things that make you feel like and like and get doing and all those things. But at the end, like there are some point in life when you see you are faking something, like you're posing yourself right to fit in what people view you or the negative thing. You even feel like you are tired and no. This one no. You feel like I cannot do it anymore. Yeah. So but there's peace of mind and happiness in doing what you feel like is good inside you. That peace inside you really it make you move freely happy and you do everything when in tired, right? Because you are not doing anything to please anyone. they find that kilo even a check lura and harm. A chira and a chilu harm, and it's not harming you. So, and you are not doing it to please anyone. Because you're to please someone there. It really give you hard time because you do it to please someone that day and you blame yourself. Why do you do like this? It is not good. Why? Like you'll find within you that conflict. And the more you keep on posing to please others and you fight within you, you lose yourself, and at the end, you will never please anyone.
I want to push it towards a peer pressure. You know, we have friendship. Friendship can be a beautiful thing. Lakini, when it flips to the negative, where there is envy, there is self-comparison, palkiro online, in real life, you have friendko. You grew up together. Their life is different. Your life is different. Now you feel worthless. So how can we come back from that self-comparison? Even kana matko, or if you are a friend in a relationship, how do you reinforce people's sense of self-worth when life has turned out so differently for everyone? Ton, welcome back.
Thank you.
Bajamat can before the internet cut you out. But
Okay.
yeah, that's my question.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So those concerns, if comparison, kujela pressure, kujela all these struggles, the children na daga burupio you get the best thing. Burupio in a way that shows that we are also having challenges, isn't it? Actually, we are not perfect people, and we are excellent at everything. This one here, when I'm talking about procrastination, I have something on my list. I say about people who have to do this one every day, but there's this particular thing here that I did not do yesterday. I have to learn from this time. So now, yes, indeed, there is an improvement in this guy, so I also need to improve. But now, yeah, this kind of this comparison, be qual ben kujela work ben, 100% unchaja loy. So kajala they are not the one doing it. It's not helping. But Jal Ben Darimbo from this family like this into in this relationship, things are not this one here. Na bo kulel nya kulel ya da dan janam kan tie ur ku kan tiao. Rana cha disturb rana cha ngene. Kya Jal Ben ke wuni mi chen cha kan luer. No da man chi wa kan nang 2 weeks that do wa jere ben. Yeah. Kala another young lady, a young man like me. Yes. A part of life that somebody has gone through na lura yen. Eka chiro lo chige jong ra yeni chi ran ti la nganum kule bay, isn't it? Yes, kale ngin yes, ero lo even it is thin kwachi overcome. So I really emphasize that part of it that much. Bugu ya good examples and unknown challenges chiro lo bu kan yin ga ni knowledge. Na ko eka bribe King David, King David ting Uriah kor in another garabi. Tem da pinyin nam da pinyin top president go tem ba gar bin ran pir de ke in you right in a house no a different color, isn't it? Yes, because but nearly accord work presented in that so that we learn mistakes. See David ke lo ku strength there. That mistake lo ku le to so na lo ko lo mentored ran jala ko na ke degree de lo era ben all this ke ka no ran de dia to onti itu one in mathematics la ben ke na chama diu ten chala ben ba again 39%. Can you expect a celebration? Rana dia ten. Level like yes. This one, yes, I got this one here, but this is how I improved, isn't it? You were in this situation where you were even confused now. Rana bogan manifesto de. Walu anto juba. Walu kan organization ku into tukuli. Randa to ku ini nya kurana be manifesto de ku ke ben they seem correct. Above from all the good families. So in between that dilemma, Allah ke jalo kongkulu ule iya kichi abu kon. Ekenela. So kanong another young lady at that particular point or in that valley. Le bengi banato da du ka du ba in Kenya ku ka du ba every smooth ban achira ka lo. Then now The kachin what to relate. A lot of that in la bank in an angel from heaven. Winja ko pinum jam ko pinum man. Elo adit and ya pinu wajilu mess up. Now tell me, whom will you win? You will not win anyone. But if you tell them the business in taking to could chin takes in even scholarship, she will applied over and over again, why rejected so many times. Then later we got it. Okay, even Koya rejected could go and refine that. Yes. This time and all this and all that. So that is to do with that. Then comparison and all that to do with pressure from friends. You know now Korbani nana dagi no friends. A simple test, actually practical, but they test. Cool Benjal to Lilla. Cool Benjal to Jalula. Nongara Chirolo, yen then a ken kaka kendi mantioka chipana kemla lula yero to kana mwikila kwa a dona. Ublar India, but a dona. Kujala Ben Jalamara Bay Committee friends is we're my friends. No, we have been there since we were young. So Vijara Loy and again called Donna. It no Kobe recommend you know they will recommend around one mood. You know, a problem ya galom Udu Panduan. That's why you really know that among those friends who are that stage chairman Peter Ranjam. Hey, Chayan war in a jargon no, the wrong number here, isn't it? So I'm not calling in Bijay, but the reality is that when things are okay, they are friends because they have an expectation. They can even help you because they book the future. Yes, they see the future is going on well. They begin to book. Just briefly this. That one on Uganda. I took after senior 4, Kuberba up to advanced level. Go some of my colleagues. Instead, we go up to senior 5 and 6 for the reasons of other concern. Go some of them go take quite a mature entry. Go university, go other colleges. Many of them go to Halia. Go open Juba. 2009, Boku Lara immediately. From that time, on top of Tukuli, very good friends. Because I know Kokweke, but they will go and find that Kakwa Tukule Latwalaga, he comes to physics, mathematics. So of course, because circumstances avoid your friends. So are those friends of circumstances? Mathematics are automatically you become friends. But after Chile exam, you could result results in a 4. So what is it? You community? Ben Juba, kuna bi Juba kini ga don ti in the Janjara zone. Kuyene ban ku yo loy. Ku bu ye chat kan other colleagues ko now reality aja ti ngai friend. Until we jala dong. Abu friend che ga jala lewo ti ba janji ngai friend. Now then after Chantu University, kuboku ta Juba kar ko ga chuk dare difficult ba. But immediately after I got my appointment at the university, software developer, we are teaching assistant, friendship resumed. So another kind of friendship, she Wi-Fi and I did power la over kaka, kunaji ngadeka boyetok. So kajal study, yes, these are people, but kiwe market, you see. So that is so. But when you your real friend, most of your real friends, I say like. What you love to hear. What is painful. So now he my friend for almost 3 years, 5 years. Quite about my family. You know the ranjiti who you see that kang aji child in my family. No tiena kan who you are quiet. Can you a good friend? Inye jan lui but tian wuche is painting. I think but you are not talking about it. And no relationship good. no, you know, no, a family won't there, but he's investing in a regular relationship with your in jam. Why guys, your friends? A friend are in coin, man, sister, let's move on. Golden word, been how far? In Chilaba Jam, company registered 2015 now, up to now, what kind of law? This one is not helping you. Be in what you have not done. No. This is not right. Actually, support by actually love you and then children will love you. No universal assignment the end. Those are friends. But I'm not around with you. You know, okay. You know what you are doing. And all this kind of that level. So on that level in French, no. In my presence, because Bayanja rejected. So in that case, I could consider like that. In terms of comparison, you know, every day work, we are not competing for one thing. You know, at the university with Jelako Agaloy, examination going out in. It's not good. Examination by going to learn you an answer. I find it irritating. It's good. But even if not checking logo or examination hall, we explain to me, I can tell you. Because I think watching competition. Competition dini di ko lora yang abu di ku yang achieve di da liu waje ban pin bu kana chin competition kana kon ta liu. So idea the competition idea the can choy limited yela to na de chicken opportunities to jal to ku ka jaga ter kene. That is a problem. But na eto chimana high dia man, you know, na when uncle very tall yeni che jora and chipegiti di jan peg tin I can't bear to the point where we call it because to the Bala Pectinate to the extent the bandit. Charabanyal good is up to you, isn't it? So I think we are competing for this, we are competing for this. You know, now yeah, to toy will compete be competition will one because the car, okay? You learn a car it be.
Quite a
Yes, I know you quite in bill, but Kujela could very car competition above a loy be. The little what tour bag a big way rate of be bag be in leg bag competition a loy rot be. How best can they do? You know, cake that are big a bit the slowest. Kachirman he told is that okay, a big a bit because you are competing in a different environment. Kuke line to be yikur lerke alerke worry competition worry. So while I've been with different talents, ke wa human being watching ale rana chinale yen kilbe ya good at. Kujara jor kujalwe lot environment ngait bala lui compete. Na ichita kuye the fastest, you want a comment. Kule chita kule ya na ko bala lui compete with an ego. You see, ego trains I can be resilient. You see, that time of storm. You know, be resilient. Ale ben me kula storm like a ben. Because the training is much in kind of function. Function is related to purpose. And purpose determines the design. So all these ones are related. Naja lo kujarala town environment nyanke ngari kwera ane lui design anyini ale yungu support below kulora tautin you will not perform well. He'll at all no. I'm the king of the jungle, so but I would love this year, but I king of the water environment. You will rule poorly because actually the dugati. In the job, very by Jalaga Bobby will be ruling by below 10. So comparison in a case called because you know the work in the image of God. We function with relation to what God does. Each of us are uniquely equipped can key support below, isn't it? Chiran, you know, in that area of Mesopotamia, Kuchiran, Mesopotamia, you bend that kind of idea bicycle. Yes, you know, get the first wheel. Pick up, use the idea of the whale to come up with more. So what is it? That competition. It's all competition. They just book in a different environment. We compete with it. All regimen including very fast, very slow because a different environment. Could I let there be fish in the water. So there is a relationship between what is created and the environment. Who will determine function and the productivity. Will appreciate Kidia, ever to worry, isn't it? Yes. Right now, Victoria Bulonde Loy, Kulala Londia, ever ya Ben Bugu, Yuiku, one Alakir, Wakwal Kudoka, Londa, for us to share ideas and to listen from our people. Yeah, Gelonda. So we are Ikebra Yena. Yena Peda Chan, Bayang, by MP, isn't it? Isn't it? Yes, I know MPs. By the virtue of leadership, qualities to serve the country at that level, they do it. No teachers, no doctors, and no to sustain the food system. They invest in agriculture. Now, Kubala Jal from agriculture, I want to do law. Is it now? Something different. So at that point, a book or influence could be working together. If you cannot influence them, influence yourself first so that you be an example to them.
Thank you so much. I'm exhausted question can you care question to Eng Thon, and I'm really blessed. Many people taught in a comment section in Europe and Pancholia, Jack, yeah, little David, Gabriel and Ben Lechi, they are connecting with your message. And it's empowering all of us. Thank you for that. Now in Iran, Ben, we are discussing, the topic of self-worth. Ye benno or self value or it's really Iran. Ye ke ben outside, ye ben community, ye ben non knowledge, ye ben non young right. Anyway, we don't know, but it can do so just para kupianga. Now you very from the beginning and you will get the answers. So question one thing Lutonda kutanda luirana bulo ke shake because of question kokero benchien. Question culture, like how does culture influence, self-worth, like really the run? Especially I want to narrow it down to gender because why advocate women empowerment and female gender? And there is this culture in our community that value goal. Na nyan when nyan much. So reality akere so na nyan when chituol ka yene ka nyelo nye carry ma ton ka lo kem nyan to. Okay. Na mo jakala be. Na mo when is not productive. I think I look at more tick. So now it has created this unconsciously that DRR important, right? In general. And it also no now, now we associate kinetic, and in the song, in the language, so how does this cultural, aspect impact, how people perceive their values and how they even carry themselves with, with dignity? And how can we make a U-turn in areas that need U-turn?
Okay, thank you. I will just make a reference to this book, even when it comes to gender. There's a book by Dr. Miles Monroe, is Understanding a Woman. If you can read that book, you will get a lot more on that. Now lot book changi changi na le coach. Ke ko ja jal be confused na. Now there are a check in the image of God. Kujal the coach the in the image of God, jack a little different in some aspect of functionality. So ku functionality actually uniquely lower than the other. Now lwela manu kulwela riai lwela riai yenike better than TR. Then you have to be clear about that. Because TR actually carnial. So how did you even arrive at comparison? Bulala iti much. So key in just from the distinction bulala much. Much in the image of God. Kujel nang functionalities watch. Kujal society buku functions town. Society ga job description. I had big job description below tongue. That's why I gave you an example last time. Damanon Louis Chapati after Sina 6. You know, not teaching up waiting because I know in a community, wealth in a Dagaran, a Louis Hotel, Iran, he isn't it? And I very normal because I know them and the Levena community now a tag, but it's in logic, isn't it? A tag in logic. Who can allow get as time goes on? One to one community, jam Lagula, Nacha, you can ruin, which are Nangaja. Kaman community, that was how it was that time because it would not unknown that moral that really yes resources are top, but what is the source? But as time goes on, man, achieve source achieve core. Key core any product go resources talking no. Can I wire them to your account? That's what matters. So get to make a labena like a community that are core yak. Cause you allow crooks because now means do not matter. At the end, that is what matters. So that is my understanding. Community ajele ten man. It be ki ene yig value unta daru la chene meaning. Na ja bang bu kar nya ku ngari ten ke yi auditing be an auditor nana de kan you know I don't give that example pet achira an beran be audited. So ten indicate to community tinigana. Na bengu bela ben attachment tax community anong daman de inela you that no kapiel ke good at the logic community are very good at logic. But anong kok that you don't see the logic. Kulela yatik. No tik actually important. Kuna yu ran jam. Ka very important man ke these are ke. You see. Then now you see now what sense does it make here? Important do ke ine mon jam you know. You see. So tena kalong in ala no the community like chen some in logic like jalama. Inga chobula yin. Iran wajapakana wingo by that time. Kulel community ulela. Mena dangin ke kilatina. Chi mena dang chi way. Kede mena dangin I chi way kalatin. Isn't it Blario? Isn't it? So now tell me now where is logic then? Rani a bad that of a problem that solve go away community public health aspect. Alalwela yani ran no wikila. Isn't it? So to make a long in a way community now work or bunang some level of learning buku logic applied. Chimana get a piel one, he work a logic apply. So all away from these regards of gender. Buku lela tiku much. Lela ni rakena bukena raka chin value and all that. You can live. Now a long ke lela nyan ton. A chin nyan le blue qualify until be a much. No, a chin ale a chikor. Nearly a chuck tick, Ketungrod, and she can perform, but still a woman. At her level, at her best level, I think upgrading correct. Chimana in our country now, Chimana at the presidency level now, one or two vice presidents. Now tell me now, Koiga Quad, Diarega Quad. Libera joy at a time, no, I live. So, Balwell and Bijal from this function to another, nearly the Chak Karan Loelonde, Nachi Chagulona, the Galondia, Ebaya Biaga, the catching the core because you're losing. Every game and lonke. But losing a chin gender. Now, Lula, you have lost. Kachilula either is a female or you're male. Loss is I think gender, isn't it? So now it's circumstances that I have lost. Watching each allow at this particular time, it means that I'm a loser. The Korean be in that name, Kubera by chopping, by winning, by loy. And I think so, bila losing or low or lowness tied to a woman. That is not very right. When I equality, you know, equality equal in differences, isn't it? For example, now pure computer science, pure biology. Now, at the level of teaching, we're teachers, but we are teaching different things, isn't it? Now, I can biology, pure. Then I've left the reason as to why I've been doing what I've been doing. Yes. So very important. But this distinction be very clear. Brana ben bro value. Brana ben I'm good at what I'm good at. Take a channel in the image of God. In fact, I love when that do. The Kabbalah use that in the real Adama, the real Hebrew word. But you are nana dege. Ki chol mana kon arad ben. So kijala ownership bujala kijala tik that a female man. A chairman in a jalo lola met. Na lola met the chiel very duk. Lola kemet ka ko na met gujalo ye men nga. Ye men ngo ka lola ke men nya. Uke men moj. So originally man a kon to ge one unit na de go walk ben e kon jage nga. Kujala lola kene a female. Female man kujala male man. Basically that. If you just go and look at what we discussed earlier on. So can I well, so but Branja who can la benga tempting dong dia okay now. Anti Japi man anti Jalamo, Indian capacity, Kayiner and Inchin Alicha. We know capacity to do more, including Bakandri, Kumba, team Baga lead Kunguban, but you appreciate the fact that in a channel, in that image, you will function like that. Who image actually in choy lower that the word do abaya where I can never arm call can jam within the
I think another problem the network there.
Yeah, I think actually pause. So thank you. Maybe I'll in the PowerPoint summarize kuna cheton chila ben ko blue close. And then I know what you do 2 minutes to close the show. Thank you so much, our excellent audience, for your participation, for your encouragement, and this is really great show. We are learning a lot, and that is the purpose of the U-turn, to bring bright mind to man engineer Thon Malek, who are very encouraged, who are motivate on critical issues to help us to go home and think and challenge some of the beliefs we have, especially around these key topics. And topic of today about self-worth. You looking around, really do, do. Ye ke ben be no pan any diti no community be in thin, no country to in thin. Then get to discuss and what are some of the challenges self-worth the challenge, who your opportunities when the self-worth the child will develop. So like take it away. If not, it's all about okay. If not, come back in the show that, but here to just summarize what you have learned, what you have had.
Yeah. From the last question, I'm understanding that coaching different capacity, different functions, and especially in alveolar kumoch. Ache doesn't mean one is less than or one is better than. Na loko ben jamdani yutan ke kuyuko well Bakaj categorize kulwela ke men moch ka piet bekene loy kumen tiga le bekene loy. Specialization was necessary at some point. Like be loy bekete bulwe diara bekene loy rora bekene loy. Alu wrote at some point, and some of it was influenced by lack of understanding Beluela Diara don't understand mathematics. Those are Belu Mantio, right? We all understand mathematics. So okay, you could well then both men and women, girl child and boy child, equal exposure, opportunity, mentorship, resources to excel, right? Now, jake lui support equally ke just the fact that achi diet ke duko achi diet Kenya achi future de lui determined. Only thing that is different is to kabe the myth that she will push, the other one will not, and that's the functionality different again. So we say equity. Na chinyir chikanim dong china chana kene ke yin resources at the beginning when there was limited resources. I wrote the chikata twing, then how can we bring you to the same level of empowerment, resources, exposure, mentorship? And I personally do a lot of work volunteering, can you mentor for young girls who desire to go through education because I know what the difficulties are, um, how you know as a woman or as a young girl struggle to fit into a system that was not designed for you, right? And yeah, some things of the culture, Achin culture, 100% perfect. Some kakaigal will come out of ignorance. Like in self work do. I will depend on random. Kecha will learn cool is that you have inherent value. You feel like you matter regardless of your achievements or mistake, because those things are what you do. They don't define who you are. You accept yourself. You recognize that you have strengths and flaws. Into 100% perfect, and you don't see those as to define if you are enough or not enough. You believe you are deserving of kindness, boundaries, and respect, regardless of what you have or what you don't have. Doesn't matter. Ning ning title, ning status. You man randi to man ranchi bailer. You deserve kindness and boundaries and respect. The last one, and this is very important, is inner stability. But your sense of value, chibi alwell. No, don't crumble when people start to criticize you or tell you you are wrong. Be humble enough to accept criticism as a people pointing out that you don't understand something. Maybe you need to do a little bit of more work there. Because na lar karandu wani got mathematics homework to local loy mark in took a watch. Chibla wala yan ran kuch kang yan kapiole ja watch. No, you would do non teacher, well teacher. How can I improve? How can I understand this topic better? Because number the into homework can I watch doesn't mean that it defines who you are. It defines the level of understanding, and that's how you can make sure the system is equal rate. You know, they rate your assignment, they rate your understanding of the subject matter. They don't rate who you are or your value to the world. That's a whole different thing. So that's, I think it's gonna be my U-turn message to really understand what self-worth is, and not base it on trivial things you can gain or lose. I trivial that include money. Honestly, you can gain money, you can lose it. Now, where self-worth they can go, low kulaka area pinka coach. I millions of dollars I check more, or they invest in the wrong thing and they go crazy after. Now, Ran can self-worth that you define as having money. Now, just self-worth to define as something else. For example, um, being respected in your field. For example, you Korbaya engineer or in Korbaya dictor, and you want to practice in a way that people look up to you. And Korbaya engineer and be engineer Chiton Malik. That is not based on the fact that Ton Malik has a lot of money. No, because he has done a great job with what he has. Like Achilo Sukulich, he understood the engineering, he practiced it. Now I want to do just like that, right? That knowledge, achieve the Biran baby, and achieve the balloon. That's something you can admire. You can ask for mentorship. So Before I overdo it, welcome back, Thon. I was just summarizing what I've learned from your wonderful and powerful conversation today. I will pass it back to Rhoda. Kubera Benjaja, their return message.
Yes, thank you. Great summary, Alaki. Really appreciate what you've been to at the close of the show and on its back. Great God, you need you to conclude this powerful conversation. So, as not usual, usually conclude our show with the U10 message. And U10 message is, what do you want to be called? Because to today and call one message on the topic of self-worth, in case of Bajalo Inton, and then after that, go be showed our book here. So take it away.
All right, thank you. Yes, General, just briefly going back to what I iterated earlier on about self-worth, and I drive it from that prodigal environment, that prodigal son. When the jail, now the peer the turn for 1 month, that is in the state, kulera bila pole kake, la into reckless life and la into the life of want and all that needs and all that. So meaning that all of us, regardless of where we are, no koi ko in life ran e jal ku alui pir compare te to tin wa ku te to na man, it's still a too late. Now the statement that say that I'll go back to my father, when Allah ran only do change to his or her life, because we can make mistakes, which go. Able to change to our sonship, and then you have come back as my son, still get the privileges were in the Wendia. Yes. So value, especially value that achi any cover achi determine. That's why I channel even to the point chen dab channel ni pakana it. By its value, the machine la core benefit could they expensively. Yes. So community only be tag, but that is not you. In each all failure to work, it's just an attachment. Chirichen community jam uleka no positive one no negative. But you can jam on guleku. Epana kimka man each all positive, but outside anything one could be a positive. Yeah, meaning that positive does not mean anything. A value that people attach to it. Not all in the gym, you are doing your work at the end. Kudun bila ben be ala in the process, that output, that is what is important. Itena wichako rabi jama ke lui fail ke this is the methodology. Because fruits actually getting the goal in for me, isn't it? Every story you working, you are contributing to those tem bijala benala. So now koi be are celebrating the janitor of Jenica Jalerbu. Yes, we wait and we'll celebrate with them. But it any year when team could join and go any a failure. Till I understand that in a process in a latamakana. So got a level of patience, or got a level of belief when you know they go walk a check in the image of God. Anytime core and by a confused about can well. Non ticheni nyali my image. Abright. No. So I will always be in the image of God, regardless whether tabai kata outside. Kiko tongen. Eba nyi clearly nanade. Dulwini joten ba it ba bait tantine. I know the direction that will take me back. Who value the land due to the father, I would give value of a son. And I'm not privileged, well, Kabi yen a London, Bicheng, Kabi yen a ring, Chirman Unchen, father, Eloy, the Kabugala yen. Walk ben, I chiran walk in too late to refine himself or to refine ourselves. Yes, we still have all that is required to be the best of ourselves. Who community could allow the same demand that was placed on us when we were born. And work and a demand and their quality work all knowledge me up in one better than the you anything. That demand at one what on me, what on Lakir, what on Doka, that demand at on every one of us. I see a level in around to think to the point that became valuable. Then finally, let us choose. Let us choose which opinions we accept.
Wow. So Wallaby to go and make a choice. Yeah, which opinion in book gam? We our self-worth be a measure. Your opinion your self-worth is based on how you look. We'll talk any yin account family being within or community being thin. Met kuni chal any yin country be in Tinakilwana, you country, all schedule countries or third world countries, whatever there is, a choice done by Jala make in person. So thank you so much, engineer. We have learned a lot from you. You are always welcome back, as you all know. Engineer has offered we have been on the U-turn show monthly. So toward the end of every month, we be engineer. I think we been encouraged. We been yen wisdom there. He has offered his life, this part of his journey, the share, can walk. And we are honored to have you. Thank you again. If you are new to this platform, the youth and empowerment platform, work on educate, work on inspired, and work on spotlight. So now not an man engineer na PLO community or no ideas be talking yen could be internet but be ideas could be shared can work with our community. So we recommend Ben be a part of our youth and family. Our mission is to make a U-turn. The meaning of U-turn is transforming our society through ideas, through visionary work, and through encouragement and empowerment. So in Katoa, water no who are part of this movement. So every Saturday around this time going on shoulder. Sometimes when we move to Friday, if our guests talk in different part of the world time zone, we accommodate. And sometimes we'll book to Sunday. So next week our show will be a Saturday, be on Sunday because our guests, time zone cannot allow we present on Saturday. So you are always welcome. You can engage with our videos on the platform. Go on YouTube link because about 28 days videos quite delete on Facebook. So you can also find us on YouTube and also on Instagram. So thank you again, engineer. Thank you everyone. To die or blood die, leave your U-turn message, like your advice on the comment section. Who will respond and who forward because you can pick a short who will be turned by the messenger to share. So thank you, Abishoda. Thank you, wonderful ladies co-hosts, for helping me. This has been an excellent show as always. Nelly Kenowek. Happy weekend and happy Thanksgiving weekend to our American friends. Bye bye.